Check, check. Whether you're a lifelong keeper or just getting started, help us encourage responsible keeping, conservation, and public education in the interest of keeping our reptiles safe and healthy as we protect them for future generations. You're invited to spend time with us as we experience these awesome animals together on Intrepid Exotics. Hey, we made it. Hope everybody can hear me okay. Been kind of jumping through my butt to get this stuff done really quick today. Okay. I hope everybody had a great week. The color should be a little crazy in here because I got the window open. And the lighting looks really good when it's like dark and there's no natural light in here. But when I mix the natural light and this stuff, it looks kind of crazy. So we'll deal with it. Hope everybody's had a great week. Welcome back to another Saturday night with Intrepid Exotics, where we talk about snakes and lizards and USARK and anything else that comes up. And coffee. The stuff of life. Oh, man. It's been an incredibly busy week, as usual. See if we can get this stuff going. As a matter of fact, I've got to get myself into the habit of doing this here during this live stream here. I'm going to have to set up the Zoom call for Patreon later. Because I forgot to set that up. So as we go through here, I'll be poking my head over here periodically and getting that stuff set up so that I can get the link out to all of our Patreon folks. For those of you guys that don't know, reason why we bumped our Saturday night live streams back to 7 instead of 8 o'clock is about 8:30 or so. We go from here into a Zoom call for all the paid Patreon members. Last week it went like 2.5 hours or something. Just a lot of conversation about a lot of different reptile stuff, a lot of good information shared, and it's really cool doing those because I get to learn some stuff too. Instead of just everybody sitting here listening to me bump my gums, we can have all the paid Patreon folks in there. They've got some good information to put out. So if you're interested, I'll put the link up on that as we go tonight as well. And I'll try not to get too distracted and try not to do all this stuff at the same time. So let's see who we've got on tonight. I'm going to be multitasking a little bit, so just bear with me. All right. Bet and Gregor here. Good to see you guys from Utah. Has it stopped snowing out there yet? Erica's with us. And Judd is here. OG Serpents is with us. Brandon, good evening, sir. How you doing? Rocco's with us. Smay's here. Good to see ya. Hey. And my mom made it today. Video about the lungworm. I seen it. I didn't listen to it yet. If you guys know anything about it, I've had it passed to me a couple times about the Burmese pythons in Florida. I guess a lot of them are coming back positive for lungworm. Some parasites that they've got going through the population out there. So we'll see if anybody knows anything about that. I guess I need to follow up on that because that would be real interesting if the population also has a population-wide parasitic problem that's shortening the lifespan of the animals out there. Then that can help to curb the invasive numbers, which may actually be a good thing. It might be nature's way of saying, okay, there's too many of you guys down here. Let's thin the herd. So Nicole is with us. How you doing? No wrestling to compete with. Outstanding. Dennis, how are you? Just pulled out from underneath the truck. Hey, David, good to see you. Yeah, I know you said you've been. I'd actually seen you post some pictures of the shows that you guys was hitting. Man, it looked like it was really. It looked like you guys had a really good time out there. I know I've got so much filming to do tomorrow. So much stuff. The weather was just kind of on the cusp today. It was supposed to be 70 today and 80 tomorrow. So I was going to go out, like start today, start taking some animals outside, do some filming with them and stuff like that. I opted to just wait till tomorrow. It's going to be closer to 80 degrees outside. It'll be a lot better for them. I don't want to take them out there and it'd be just a little bit too chilly for them or anything. Yeah, Nicole was saying she was hoping the lungworm doesn't affect gators and the other native wildlife. See, I don't know enough about it to really have an educated discussion about it right now. But I need to. And if there is anybody that is familiar with that down here, then by all means, man, jump in and let us know. Outstanding. Absolutely love the big tortoises. I go over to Aubrey's house every now and then. He's got some Aldabras over there that are just a blast. They just sit there and run around the backyard grazing. And it's really cool the way he's got it set up too, because he's got these reinforced fences in his backyard so that they can't bulldoze through it. Those animals, those sulcatas and Aldabras, the big tortoises, man, they are so strong. If you're looking at a 200-pound tortoise, they're really they are strong animals. And they are so cool too, man. I love you get over there and you start scratching them on the neck and all four of their legs just kind of poke up real quick. It's just the opposite of a monitor lizard. Monitor lizard gets stressed out. He gets up on all fours, starts cocking his head down. When the tortoises get happy, they start stretching out like that. Nicole says she's chronically worried about everything. I try not to. Doesn't always work, but. And we did get. What day did I go over there? I went over there this Monday, actually. Was it? Yeah, I think it was this past Monday. Went over to Jeremy's place and picked up a new retic. I've got a video that I put out with him, and I think it came out Monday. I'll go ahead and pull that up here in a second so you guys can see him. I'm not going to go downstairs and get him and bring him out because he is a little spicier than the other ones that I've got. And I want to take my time and film all my handling sessions with him the same way I did with Bob. Because this guy, I went down there earlier and he's 10 feet, maybe. Not a real big snake at all. He's 8 feet, probably closer to 8 feet. I'm bad at guesstimating, probably 8 or 10 feet. But when I got him back, he did pretty good. He's been in his enclosure for a few days. I went down there today, and his tongue was stuck out about 1.5 inches and just vibrating. So it looks like we may have a little bit of a touchy snake on our hands. So hopefully, I never hope for him to be stressed out or anything, but it would be really good if he is a little defensive. The first handling session went really well. If he does start getting a little touchy and defensive on me, it'll be really good because then I'll be able to actually demonstrate some of the stuff we talk about with him, which will be really cool. He's a gorgeous snake, though. He's a marble platinum male retic. Just really good looking boy. So, oh man, here I go, getting behind on the chats again. Yeah, I know, man. Smay was saying it sucks not going to be able to see him get full size. That's the bad thing about tortoises, man. You've got to be able to live 2 lifetimes to really be able to spend time with them. As old as they get. Hey, Christina's with us. Good evening. How you doing? Okay, now I make this stuff pretty quick too on the USARK stuff tonight. Like I said, this is gonna go really quick because there's not been any changes, but I'm gonna bring this up anyway because that's what we do. And got wires all over the place. I was looking at getting a little soundboard to keep on here, but with everything else, I'm not entirely sure where I would put it. This desk isn't all that big, and more stuff's just gonna. I'm tripping all over it. Come on, USARK. Pull up, pull up, pull up. And share the screen because I can't see. There. And the camera in the way. Okay, for those of you guys that are new or haven't tuned into the channel a whole lot, this is something that we do every Saturday is I pull up the USARK page. For those of you guys that are new and don't know, USARK is the lobbying body that catches and prevents bad legislation. And they have done an outstanding job this year. There's been at least 5 instances where they've had bans or some really bad reptile laws that they have found buried in the legislation for us, sent out the information, coordinated responses to the representatives, and got all this stuff tabled, squashed, done away with due to the public attention that it gets. So it's really important that if you're involved with animals at all, get in. Again, yeah, like I said, all of these are the old alerts. Talked with Jeremy from USARK a little bit Monday when I picked up the retic. Actually talked for a couple hours, and I had half a mind I was going to bring my camera out. I was going to film some stuff over there, but I am so terrible with that. Get over there and start talking. It's like, oh man, it's been 2 hours. Haven't even thought about bringing the camera out. But there is some things that USARK is watching that they haven't posted yet because they're not sure how it's going to fall, what needs to, what's going to need to be done, what exactly is going to be put out. So they don't put anything out until they know exactly what's going on. So just kind of keep your ear to the ground on that. Keep your eye on the USARK page because there's a possibility that there could be some stuff coming up. But as it stands right now, the stuff that they're watching hasn't graduated to the point of alert worthy, I guess. So I'm not going to mention it until they do officially. And just everybody, if you're not already a member, man, go here, click to the membership page, and it starts as low as $20 a year. I think most people typically do the $40 a year for a bronze membership. Real easy to do. The numbers really do matter, and all of that money adds up. So by all means, guys, definitely get on, help support USARK. They do great stuff, and they make it possible for us to keep our animals, which is pretty important to me because we couldn't do all of this stuff without them. What did I? Michael Duvall's here. How you doing, sir? Yeah, Jim popped in. Howdy. Yep. USARK Florida is definitely worth keeping up with as well. For those of you guys that don't know, USARK National and USARK Florida, 2 completely separate entities. I know there's some other states that try to do a USARK thing, but the 2 that are legit are USARK National, USARK Florida. USARK Florida has actually made a lot of progress down there too, that I think, as well as the bad stuff seeping over into the other states from down there, I think the good stuff seeps over a little bit as well. USARK Florida's had some big improvements with FWC down there as far as the relationship and all that other stuff, working with them to affect the regulations and so forth. So they've done a lot of really great work there. Where's that? Come on. And there's a lot of folks on here too, just like Christina. She said, if you need help becoming a member, need help paying for the membership or something, hit her up. There's a lot of folks out here that, if you come and hit them up and say, hey, I need to do it, but I am absolutely flat broke right now. There's a lot of folks will help you out. And even get a t-shirt out of the deal. So a lot of t-shirts you'll spend almost $40 for. So see people they talk to are gonna. Yeah, Colorado was one to put a $15 fee. And I don't know if it was going to be the flat rate across the board or something, but it was going to be on each pet. Like a fish tank with 100 fish in it. That's, flat rate per individual. So I'm glad to see that didn't pan out. Let's see. Oh, that's a good question. Greg was asking if there's a way we can check and see when our dues are up. I'm not 100% sure. It's a good question. I should probably check. The way I found out mine were up is I got an email from USARK asking me to re-up. I was like, oh, so I had to jump back in there and re-up. There's got to be a way to do it. I'll get in there at some point over the weekend and check. Yeah. Erica says she got an email reminder. Hey, Sam made it in. How you doing? Yeah, one thing to keep in mind as we're reading information about this infection, the parasite problem and stuff down there, the infection would have been brought in, like the parasite problem would have been brought from somewhere else. The Burmese pythons have been there forever. It's not like the Burmese pythons were carrying this and immediately started spreading it. They were already established there before this. And see, this is the reason why I don't want to start going into it really, is because we don't know whether they picked it up from, they clearly had to pick it up from another animal because, like I said, they hadn't been talking about this and that population was already established. So it wouldn't be the Burmese that brought it if it were the case. It's completely possible that the Burms are catching it and the Burms are becoming infected with this parasite. And because they reproduce so well down there, they're spreading it amongst themselves more. But yeah, there's that's the one thing about those studies. I never take one study and read it and flip out about it because you've got to, especially with something like that, you got to find 2-3 different sources and kind of shuffle stuff together and see where the reality of it is. If somebody is saying that, the Burmese pythons brought this thing in and they're spreading it all over the state, then there's an angle there. Because one, the Burmese aren't going to be spreading it throughout the state because they're not located throughout the state. It would end up attaching to other species that roam up. But yeah, like I said, I'll talk more about that when I get more information on it. I'll make a point of studying up on that over this week. We'll find out exactly what's going on with it. So let's see. And here, while we're talking, I know one video that I want to put out. I may end up putting it out tomorrow when I do the rest of this stuff. Is definitely want to talk about stuff like enclosure sizes. And I know that's a touchy topic. There's a lot of different opinions on that. There's a lot of people that, that's a hill they're completely prepared to die on. Enclosure sizes and what you need in there for the snakes in order for them to live a good life. And opinions vary on that. Even though some people have really strong opinions, they are still opinions in many cases. So I guess we can touch on that a little bit too and kind of get everybody's input. Hey, Megan, how you doing? Sean popped in. Good to see ya. Like I said, I'm just gonna kind of be popping off to the side here and getting this Zoom set up for tonight since I was such a slacker and completely forgot to do it. But one thing that I want to demonstrate in this video that I put out is going to be, I've got, and a lot of you guys may have seen this, with Niles' enclosure, I've got the door that I put down here that swings down so I can keep him in his tub and basking area and seal him off from the rest of the enclosure. And, you know, since the temperature hasn't been good enough to let the snakes go outside and exercise and stuff like that, and I don't feel like throwing my back out every day with wrestling these snakes and stuff, I can take them out and I can put them in there and just let them run around, expend some energy and stuff like that, climb around on the logs and all. Just about every snake that I put down there, within 15 to 30 minutes, they stop running around, they find a corner, they curl up into a little ball, and they utilize about this much space. 16-foot snake curling up into a little ball in that big space using, you know, just a really small area. And you can see it in just about like any of my snakes in here. Chloe, she's in not a bioactive because I don't have the insect load and stuff like that, the biological load in there. It's just dirt, moss, and whatnot. But she's got all of this stuff to climb around on and stuff, and she's been really chill. She sat up in that top corner for practically 2 weeks. She got down 2 days to get under her heat for a little while. Right after she ate, went back up. She sat in that one spot for 2 weeks. So sitting in one spot in a smaller space is natural for these guys. Which is why, you know, the smaller enclosures aren't necessarily bad if that's the only thing that you're going by. Now, if you're going in there and you're taking a 12, 16-foot retic or something, throwing them in a box and you're never touching them, you're never letting them out, you're never letting them get exercise and stuff like that, then of course that's a no-go. Because they you know, one of the trade-offs there, if you don't have a place where you can give them enough space to roam and climb and all that stuff, is you've got to be able to you got to be able to take them out and exercise them regularly. And I know yeah, Christina has got some really awesome enclosures over there. She's got some really well done, they look like miniature jungles. So she's got some really neat stuff. Let me try not to just sit here and bump my gums and get completely lost on. And yeah, I was a big slacker today. Let's see. Yeah. And you know, that's one thing too with Niles. Most of the time, yeah, he's either in his tub. I mean, for months, he was either in his tub or on his basking platform. It was a long time before he ever decided that he was going to go out and start running around. So, but he's doing a lot better now. I don't know if you guys seen the video that I posted up on Facebook, but excuse me. Niles is really starting to enjoy the attention. When I go down there and I sit down in his enclosure now, just like this last time, he's crawling up on my arm, and it's really good to see. Really good to see. Yeah, people act like current facts are set in stone, which hinders actual growth while ignoring the fact that some things have been proven wrong or out of date. Yep. And this is the thing about some of this stuff when it comes to enclosures is that some things are, there's a difference between something that's been objectively proven and something that's somebody's opinion. In many cases, the more elaborate the enclosure for some of these animals, it's purely aesthetics for the human that's keeping them. You see, you can take some of those things out, you can take a lot of those things out, and a lot of those animals are going to have just the same quality of life than if it wasn't in there. So, like I said, in a lot of cases, some of that stuff can be purely, I want it to look pretty, where the animal's like, I don't even notice what it looks like. So there's some stuff like that to be taken into consideration too. Things like there's a lot of people that are really anti-tub. Don't ever keep your animals in tubs or racks or anything like that. Racks aren't going away. People are going to continue to use racks, especially if you're breeding and stuff. One thing that I really like to see is a lot of the racks now, folks have got the clear, or they're either completely clear or they've got the windows on them, so you're letting some natural light in and stuff like that for them. But again, racks for smaller snakes, as long as they're cleaned and they have what they need in there, most of them are perfectly content to live in that. Snakes in the wild, that's what everybody likes to talk about. Well, they need to be like in the wild. Well, yeah, in the wild, they crawl into a hole and that's where they stay until they get hungry. They come out, they hunt, they bask for a little while, and then they go back in their hole. Seen somebody talking about, showing some retics that were up in the trees, and retics typically go up into the trees to avoid predators and things like that, until they start getting bigger and they don't have to worry about it anymore because, being an apex predator, once you're a giant snake, you don't have to worry about too many things. You can just kind of roam around and eat whatever you want. But yeah, and that's kind of, Christine's, she kind of hits a nail on the head too. Enclosure sizes being dependent on the amount of time they have to spend in it. If you've got an animal that you're not able to take out hardly ever, they need to have a way to move around in there by themselves, of their own accord when they want to. But I know a lot of people, especially if you don't have a whole lot of snakes, their snakes actually get tired of being handled. I know some people that handle their stuff, 2-3 times a day, every day. And most snakes will get tired of that after a while. They do enjoy their times being, even as sweet as Chloe is, she, like I said, a couple of weeks there, I'd open up the door and she might lift her head up and look at me and say, dude, just go away. I'm not feeling it. Like, okay. And then here the last couple of days, she started cruising around again. So I took her back out. So. And see, there's a couple things too about letting them roam. It's not bad to let them roam around the house, but I don't like to do it for really extended periods of time. I want them to have the option to be able to get under their heat, and I don't keep it 85 degrees in the house. Especially if they maybe still be digesting or something like that, and it's only 70 degrees in the house. If you leave them out for extended periods of time, then they're not getting that heat to digest their food. So I put them back in that warmer environment, especially during that time. For me, it's just a safety issue as far as letting them free roam. Some people can do it. Some people's houses are set up for it. If I let one of my big retics free roam, my living room would be destroyed. The rat cage would be twisted up and the rats would be eaten, and probably the dog and the prairie dogs would I've just got too many mammals upstairs to really feel comfortable letting them free roam. Especially my newer one. I'm pretty sure he would lose his mind. He comes up here because we've got, the 2 prairie dogs, the 5 pet rats, the hedgehog, the dog that live upstairs. So, yeah. I mean, Nicole was saying she thinks that there should be a standard size, and of course, it's the individual animal's needs are gonna, warrant adjusting it one way or the other. But in that case, it's not really a standardized size. At that point, we're accommodating the habits of the individual animal. So, hey, Chris is in. How are you doing, sir? We're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Yeah. Nicole's she's always got her retics out, man. They pretty much live out of there. She's got some pretty nice stinks. Yep. As another thing too, my both of the ones up here, the Burm and the Sri Lankan, they've both been curled up in their water bowl for a couple weeks. I open up the enclosure and they just kind of pop their head up a little bit and look at me, and so. Oh damn. God, that sucks. Yeah, see, the good thing about mine, our fridge went out, and Chris was saying it had a bunch of feeders in his fridge when it went out last week. Our fridge went out about, 3 months ago. And fortunately, I keep all of my feeders in a separate chest freezer. So if that chest freezer goes out, then I've got a problem because it is full. I tend to keep it pretty full. Rabbits, rats, quail, all that stuff. So. Right. See, mine, you can kind of time. I mean, after a while, after if you got younger snakes, they're gonna piss all over the place. Monty, when she was younger, I learned my lesson really quick about putting her on the bed. That was a no-go. But she's gotten a lot better as she's gotten older. And you can kind of time with meals and stuff like that. After a few days of eating, you can expect to see a couple days of them making a mess. And then once they're done with that, they're pretty much done. So. Where we at? Get caught back up on here. Yeah. Yeah, see, and I can see this too. Going back to the enclosure, the racks situation. Nicole just mentioned that Emily from Snake Discovery was saying that some of their animals don't do well in anything except a rack system because of all the activity and things like that, constantly seeing people. And I can see that. Like I said, a lot of these animals can be pretty solitary a lot of the times. So. Hey, Travis, good to see you. But yeah, that's one thing that I want to do probably tomorrow. I'm hoping I can get around. I've got a couple different videos I'd like to get filmed tomorrow, and I think I can get them all done and maybe schedule them to go out through the week. And one of them is I'm going to take Tigger out and just film him from the time I put him in that big exercise area until the time he's all done and curls up into the corner. So you can kind of see how much they would actually utilize all that space when you give it to them. I'd like to do that with him and the Burmese. Maybe take a couple of the other ones out as well. And I did get around to fixing that door because the last time I had the snake in there and filming it, Niles figured out that he could push the bottom of it out. So the snake's coming around, his tail's coming around that stump, and all of a sudden you see Niles sticking his head out the side. And that sucked. You talk about puckering up. I puckered up pretty good. But let's see. Duration. I know the last Zoom call, I'm sitting here as we talk, setting up the Zoom call so I can get it on there. I need to just set it up as a recurring meeting. But let's see. Video on. Let's see. Yeah, that's one of the things that I want to kind of demonstrate is how they act and how much that space they actually use. And substrates and things like that, you'll hear people talking about, typically with big snakes, you're using either paper or, some kind of the cocoa husk, peat, stuff like that, that people will put in too. You'll see people using the wood pellets as bedding. And again, every technique has got its pros and cons. I like paper for a couple of reasons. One, the humidity down here in North Carolina is really helpful to us. It stays pretty humid. So it's not as difficult as it would be someplace like in Arizona or something like that, where you're really going to fight keeping the humidity up. Now, even with paper, I've still got to go in and spray it all the time and stuff like that. But there again, they've got a big enough water receptacle in there to where they can get in there and soak in that water whenever they want to. And they do. Before they get ready to shed, all of my big snakes will curl up and they'll spend a week curled up in the water. And as long as you keep up with the paper, as long as you pay attention and, when they soil it, you go in, you change it, disinfect it, put some new stuff down. It's, in my opinion, it's the most sanitary way to keep them. Anytime you're putting substrate in there, you've got, and I mean, just like with Chloe right here, like I said, she's got that substrate in the bottom of hers up until her last shed, which was maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that. She had a couple really energetic days where she got in there burrowing around and she got substrate stuck up in her nostrils and in her pits. And she spent a full week and a half just up there sneezing and coughing and trying to get that crap out, which is really difficult for them to do. And then as soon as she shed, of course, all of that stuff broke loose. But that's a downside to it. And especially if you've got a snake that's going to push or anything and they start getting any substrate up in there and then pushing at the same time, they'll push that stuff straight into their gums, up into their nostrils and pits. And it's just not something that I really want to deal with. I mean, even with her, it's not like she's in a small enclosure by any means, but when she's ready to come out, you'll be able to watch her just pushing her nose straight up against the glass and pushing on it. And she might, I don't know, she might come out tonight, but yeah, she did. She did really good. Hey, we've got almost some success here. I got it set up. Now I've just got to get in here and post it. I guess I'll catch up on these right here. Oh, where we at? Where we at? Have to clear. Oh, what'd I do? Let's see. Oh, there we go. Hello, how are you doing tonight? Yep. Yeah, I know a lot of folks. I've seen a lot of people changing over from paper and using substrate and stuff like that. I really think, they do it. The conversations that I've heard, from the reasons why I've heard people switching from paper to substrate, is because it helps smell, it's more absorbent, stuff like that. Granted, those folks have got a lot more animals. So if you've got 20, 30 big snakes in there, you're not gonna spot check all of them all the time. You're gonna have overnight, they're gonna do something. And the substrate may mitigate that. But I mean, a clean snake that hasn't destroyed its enclosure doesn't stink. So if you've only got a few, paper is just, for me, it's just the way to go. It's not pretty. I was using newspaper. That was absolutely free, but I stopped using that and started getting the waxless butcher board or butcher paper because this stuff just looks better in there than throwing down paper, or newspapers rather. But I do have a really good picture somewhere of one newspaper that had an ad for Easter, and Tigger was laying on top of it eating like a 7-pound rabbit. I'm gonna see if I can find that. Yeah, and see, Christina makes it work. All her snakes are in really nice bioactive stuff. Like I said, I'll have to find some pictures and post that stuff up here for her. They do a really good job on that stuff. Okay, I gotta get a snake out. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and work on that. I've got to get that squared away this weekend. As a matter of fact, when I set this one up, I seen the option in there to set it up as a recurring meeting, but I want to make sure that I'm setting it all up right. So the link that comes out for the Zoom call next week will be the recurring meeting one. This one is just going to be me pulling it out of my posterior and making it happen during the live stream. Yeah, let me see what Chloe's up to. You crazy? You coming? Coming out? You gonna come see me? Are you gonna come see me? Everybody wants to see you. Everybody wants to see the Chloe. You gotta come out. Come on, little girl. Get over there. Don't be double. There we go. I'm going to find a spot where she'll hang on. Can you let go of my hand for a second, please? Even as small as she is, man, she's strong as hell. Can I have my fingers back? Can I? Please? There we go. Yeah, here the last couple of days, she's just started to come back around. She's been minding her own business for a while. Yeah, I'll move this down here. And I got a feeling she's going to start growing like a weed here pretty soon. So you're not going to be able to live in a little cabinet forever. And you have to start building more houses. Over there. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow too, of getting down there with the new snake, seeing how he does. Yeah, see, a lot of my smaller snakes, like back there, Bob and the and my other Burmese, um, I keep them, half their enclosure is paper, the other half of it I keep moss. So, and of course they've got the hide and everything, and the paper on the dry side, and then that sphagnum moss does a really good job of keeping the humidity up for them. But even with that, and even with me soaking down that moss, they they're both still in their water. Let's see. Oh yeah, yeah. She's gonna be a really great ambassador. She already is. But when she gets big, she's really got the best temperament. She's great. Yeah, she decided to come out. Like I said, man, even the sweetest snakes in the world, like her, who half the time when you open up the door, they just come out of their own accord. Even they want to be left alone sometimes. And she sat there in the same spot for 2 weeks and just. Oh, and it doesn't take a whole lot of space to sit there in one spot. Where are you going? Nobody can see you down there. It does no good to bring you out if you're just going to crawl down in the chair and sit there. Let's see. He's talking about the smell of dirt. I tell you what, man, there's a lot of job sites that I go on. You'll get a lot of, we'll get a lot of excavations where we're putting in new gas lines, and you'll hit these points of decay in the dirt that are just nasty. Smells like sweet sewage. It's freaking terrible. And not all dirt is the same. Yeah, that's another thing too. One thing that it will make a lot more difficult to manage is if you get like mite infections and stuff like that. All that substrate, all that other stuff in there has got to get tossed or completely disinfected or treated in order to kill those things. What are you doing? Go over here. I tried a different autofocus. It might pick up on your head a little bit quicker. He doesn't like the bright lights. Just not going to cooperate with me one bit. So we've got snake cuffs tonight. And I got stuff I need to be doing that I can't be doing if you've got my hand all wrapped up, girl. Come on. You're funny. Where are we at? Yeah. When I was he's talking about different animal smells. When I was 15 years old, I started working at a horse stable up in Michiana Shores. I had 50 head of horses in there that I was cleaning their stalls all weekend long. That was a lot. Okay. She's barber poling my chair. Why are you being difficult? Yeah, I don't know. I actually had asked I've heard that same thing about albinism affecting the sensitivity of them to light, things like that. And it stands to reason that it would. Maybe some pigment in the eyes and stuff like that that they lack. But actually, you ran that past Kevin when he was on that one live stream, and he doesn't believe it does. Here we go. Now she's just going to choke me out so that I'll leave her alone. But I think it's just a general snake thing. They like the they tend to like dark places. And like anytime I take any of my snakes outside to direct sunlight, they might sit there for a minute and they automatically shoot to the shade. So I think it's just an aversion to bright lights, which I don't blame them. If I couldn't close my eyes, I wouldn't want to have my face in the lights either. Let's see. Maybe what I need to do is like tie a mouse to the camera. Would that work? Yeah. I rub a mouse on a camera lens. Would you go check it out then? Say hello to everybody. Get up there. Get up there and say hello. She's just going to be difficult. Here's a good question attached to Super Chat. Thank you so much, Greg. Oh, it's worse, monitor or python poop? It's a toss-up, man. It really is. I almost want to say it's monitors, but that kind of depends too. Most of the time, what are you doing, crazy ass? Most of the time when Niles goes, he uses his bathtub, so it gets diluted pretty good. All right. God, you are freaking 100 miles an hour now. You know, somebody is going outside tomorrow too, and she's going to run off a bunch of this energy, ain't you? Sweet girl. I'm going to get one of the other ones. They're probably more chilled out. I don't know. It's a toss-up. I think they're pretty similar. Is that right? Oh, now are you going to do it? Now are you going to get up there and check it out? Come on. Get curious. There you go. Say hi. You can see it. I didn't notice that. You can see right there. She's still got a little bit of a brown, a little bit of a black spot there from the substrate. But well, that was a good girl. What? You gotta put her back and see what the other ones are doing. Oh boy. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know, man. Monty, she made a mess in her water bowl the other day, and it was nauseating. That was worse than anything that Niles had done. So, yeah, I know, right? She's like, okay, you get me out. We're doing something. Yeah, this is kind of funny talking about chickens. Years ago, when I first moved out here to North Carolina, I was doing LP gas stuff, and we would service the 1,000-gallon tanks around the chicken houses out here in North Carolina. Some of those would literally knock you over. Just absolutely. I mean, to the point where it wasn't safe to walk in them. You'd get overcome by the methane in there and just fall over and asphyxiate. Yeah, it's freaking terrible. Oh, this is what I need to do. I need to go in and do this. And do this. I've got to add, we have a new Patreon member too, Cody Houseman. I don't know if you're on here right now tonight or not, but welcome aboard. Let's see. And get this email sent out real quick. Sending a private message. Okay. Now I know, let's see, Christina and Judd and Erica are on there. You guys will have to check and let me know before we go off of this live stream. Let me know if you got the link. Oh, it would help if I put it in there. The link is, and this is going to start at 8:30 as well. Come on. Get off of there. I don't know if it's... Hey, Christina, last time when you guys was on, did you guys have to enter in a passcode? I don't know if it's forcing that or not. But anyway, there's the link. If anything crazy comes up. So yeah, let me know if you guys got it. Yeah. Yeah, Christina hit the nail on the friggin' head with that. That many chickens in one place, that, oh man, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Smay said they got their first 2 crested geckos. Crusties are cool. Crusties are really awesome, and they're really not terribly difficult to take care of. Their food is real easy. You know, they've got that paste that you can put together for them. Misters are a good idea. Keep them a little bit above room temperature. And they're really interactive. The only thing is they're like little grasshoppers. Our Krusty in there, you take him out and he'll sit there for a second, look around, and he'll look like he's really chill, and then all of a sudden just disappear. You thought Krusties are a lot of fun. And one thing that's really cool about crested geckos is they're a species that were thought to be extinct and have been reperpetuated through captivity, through captive breeding, which is a really big win for us. There was just one little island north of, I think it's north of New Zealand or something, where they were supposed to, and I don't remember what the name of the island was. But they ended up finding some there and getting them to breed. And now everybody's got Crusties. They're awesome. Yep. Yeah, Judd had a cool Krusty out during the last Zoom call. That's one thing that's really cool about these Patreon Zoom calls after here is, you know, folks can come on, they can bring their animals on, and we can see what you guys have got as well. And this is one thing that I really want to do once we get moved is I want to have this whole setup put in the main reptile room. So I'm going to build all of this stuff out so that when I do these things, I can have a desk and everything set up in the reptile room. So anytime we're on here doing stuff like this, I can turn around, open up Monty's enclosure or something like that, and just let her run around behind me, let everybody see the big retics. I got all kinds of stuff that we want to do whenever we can get all of this stuff moving. Okay, cool. Okay, Judd got the message. Yeah, Greg, I sent the message and I forgot to attach the link to it. So there should be another message coming up. with the link. Got an alarm set to remind me to take my diabetes medication that I already took. So, Lito, how you doing? It's earless monitors. I'm gonna have to look that up. I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't want to guess. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. See, I've never kept those, and I don't know how easy or difficult they are to keep. You don't see very many of them, though. He was talking about earless monitors. I'll put this picture up there for everybody if it'll cooperate with me. Google Images used to be so easy. Now they make you work for everything. Mm-hmm. That's not going to let me move that. There we go. That's what he's talking about with earless monitors. For some reason, it just didn't register because you don't see those. You don't talk about those very often. But they are pretty neat. But I don't know enough about those, again, to really speak intelligently about them. It's one of the things. It's such a drag about the fact that it's taken us so long to get some things lined up so that we can get moved, is because I've got so many different species that I want to bring in, so that it can just help, give them more stuff to talk about, more educational content, all that. But because right now I just can't take anything else new in. I've got a couple enclosures. I might end up putting something in, but I'd like to wait until after the move's done. So. Can Tom Crutchfield be saved from extinction? I don't think any of us can. Yeah, that's right. He was talking about the crested gecko island in New Caledonia. I do believe that's correct. Let's see. Megan said, Cresties are awesome. Just got one for a husband for a birthday on April 8th. New Caledonian geckos. Yep. Another name that they've been called, New Caledonian geckos or eyelash geckos. Yeah, we're just gonna be looking for a place local to where we're at now. We just need more space off of the state road. I like to do filming and stuff outside, but it's hard sometimes because we're right off a state road. And you get these meatheads with the loud mufflers or bikes going by and stuff like that. You can't hear anything except them. Plus, I want to have more space to where I can have an area that I can let the public come out more, because everything's so compact here between the animal space and the living space. I don't want to just have just anybody having access to my house. You know what I mean? I think I got a hole in my chin. Yeah, you guys should have the link now. It's just like sending the email and forgetting to put the attachment on. Let's see. Hey, make sure. And, yep, I'm in North Carolina. Here we go. Falling behind. I sent the I sent the link on the Patreon page. So I sent the Zoom calls for all the paid Patreon members. I just go in there and click the paid members box, and it selects all the paid members, and I send one message out to all you guys. So yeah, it wasn't Patreon being weird, I don't think, so much as it was me being autistic and not remembering to put the link in there. So Mikey's asking if a croc monitor is definitely on the short list that's going to be here when I get space. I want to have enclosures kind of similar to Niles that I want to bring in I'm going to have Niles, of course. I want to bring in a big Asian water monitor, a croc monitor, and a sail fin. And I'd like to have a couple kind of smaller for like maybe a rock iguana or rhino iguana or one of those different species. It's like really the bulldoggy, really chill iguanas. I love those things, man. I want to have, like 3 or 4 or 5 different kind of elaborate setups like that all along one wall where I can have the bigger lizards in. So. Oh, much appreciated, man. Much appreciated. Yeah, like I said, as the weather warms up, I want to start doing more stuff with the animals outside and get more of those interactions done. For any of you guys that didn't see it, I'll put up let's see if I can find it real quick. I put up that video of Niles at Meathead. Here we go. I have to pull this over here and move this over here. Put this screen up. Is that it? I think that's going to work. Yeah. So for those of you guys, I know it's been a little while to really put anything out with Niles here.
What you doing, bud? You being a good boy? Have friggin' claws on him. God. What you doing? What you doing? You being a good boy? Come on, man. What are you doing?
He's just giving up on the personal space thing. He's like, since I'm going to come in and invade his personal space, he's decided I don't have to either.
A big baby crawling up on us. Don't bite my ears or nothing.
At this point right here, I was, needless to say, a little bit nervous because, like I said, this big oaf is the same one that bit me in the back of the neck.
Come on, bud. Get on back down there.
I need to weigh him too at some point.
Jeez. What a brute.
Yeah, he is brutally strong.
That is the first time I've trusted him up on my shoulders, really. Since that time he bit me in the neck a long time ago.
It's cool, though, man. I mean, if you could see a lizard smile, he's smiling. You're
getting heavy, bud.
His personality is starting to improve.
70 degrees Saturday, 80 degrees Sunday. I think we need to go outside.
I'm really proud of how he's doing. And he's really happy with himself, too. See. Yeah, this man was asking if cockroaches and palmetto bugs are, I don't know that, cockroaches and palmetto bugs are really terribly bad here. I don't see too many of them. I remember when I lived down in Mobile, Alabama as a kid, and I lived in Florida for a little while as well. You could put a saddle on them things and ride them. And I haven't really seen that up here in North Carolina. Yeah, you're talking about it not being good if you latches onto an earlobe. Man, who was it I was talking to the other day that had that happen to him? They had theirs up on their shoulder and it got a hold of his ear. Somebody was just telling me, and I can't remember who it was now. Yeah, it's Jim saying trust is everything. Trust isn't 100% there yet with him. It's a lot better than it was. But yeah, I mean, he's just I still don't 100% trust him because he does have times where I'll go in there, and if I move too quickly around him, his mouth will open up and he'll immediately lunge. He's really food motivated, so if he thinks there's a food opportunity, you just really got to watch him. But I was asking, no, the guy that I was talking to didn't lose their lobe, but man, I got so much stuff up here. Where at? Go back to there. Okay. Yeah, that's the crazy thing is you're talking about all the bad stuff crawling around on the sidewalks down there in South Carolina. I've had no luck with wildlife over the years. They talked about all the rattlesnakes that were out in Phoenix. The whole time I was out there, I didn't see one rattlesnake. Talked about all the bears in Tennessee. I'd never seen a bear out there. I hadn't seen one since I've been in North Carolina either. So I'm just terrible on finding wildlife. What I did find, though, is, man, when we was in Iraq, there was all kinds of stuff over there. Spiders and snakes and scorpions and bats living in there and in the fort with us and stuff like that. If you was walking around out there at night, man, you shine the flashlight around. I did that one night looking up at them, and one of them swooped down right in front of my face. That'd be something I think it'd be really cool to keep as a pet. Bats rock. Here's one thing I'll do too for you guys that hadn't seen it yet. I'll put up just a little quick excerpt from the last video. Hey, Fago is with us. How you doing, man? We're just getting ready to wrap up here in a few and head over to the Zoom call, Patreon. But I'm glad you made it. Right now I'm going back to trying to find this video so you guys that hadn't seen him yet can see the new guy. Stop. That's it. And I got Jay in there, and that's Monty. There we go. Okay. Blow that up. Really got to work. It's one thing I wanted to work on too here over the next couple of days is I get down in a reptile room down there, and it just everything looks yellow. So I don't like that. I got to work on my camera settings. Not to mention the fact that you sweat like mad. Yeah, that is the marble platinum I picked up from Jeremy Monday. And he calls me up and says, I got this one snake. It really is spicy and can be kind of fun to work with sometimes. So I thought about you. So I brought him back, and this first day that I brought him out, he did really good. Well, like I said, I went down there today, and he was doing the pissed off Bob tongue flick, thing, and looked like he was ready to fight. So we'll see how these handling sessions go moving forward. He said, some days he does pretty good. Other days he just wants to throw down and take a swing at you. So this is one of those. Hopefully I can catch him in a bad mood a couple times and he really starts swinging at me, and we can do some really good walkthroughs with handling with these guys when they are mad, because it's just not the same doing it with Bob, because I can let him bite me all day long. It's a little bit different with a snake this size that you don't want to bite you all day long. So hopefully we get some pretty good videos out of him. I think we will. And he'll get outside and get some sun tomorrow too. I'm sure that'll help him feel a little bit better about himself as well. But yeah, here I'm hoping here tomorrow we can get like at least 2 or 3 videos out. I may schedule them like individual days or something like that instead of putting them all out in the same day. But hey Stan, how you doing, man? Oh yeah, no, that's a pretty boy, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you down there? Are you in a Randolph County EMS station? The same one where you got the little mini morgue back there down by the sheriff's department? If you are, I've been there many times. He is, and I think Sam was saying, just say it is a beautiful snake. I wish I would have brought my camera out earlier and recorded him looking like he was wanting to fight, because he looked like he wanted to fight. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Georgia's a nice state. We've got an uncle that lives down there. Okay. So yeah, we're going to, I guess since we bumped things back and these live streams get a little bit shorter, a lot bit shorter, really. I know last night it was really weird. We cut off just over an hour. And on this thing, I used to sitting here going for 2-3 hours. But I guess I'll need to start coming up with like a more specific agenda of stuff to go over and things like that, so that, we can actually hit some stuff, because instead of just sitting here BSing for 2-3 hours, since we're switching over now. So we'll start looking at that. So anyway, guys, tomorrow is going to be a bunch of animals outside, and I will definitely get a video of some sort out tomorrow, whether it's the handling video. Oh yeah, the snake's name, I forgot. Named him the Dude. And God, I just drew a blank on the oh my God, how bad is it that I just drew a blank on the name of that movie? The Big Lebowski. Yeah. So I haven't heard that name used anywhere yet. So he is the Dude. And we're going to get an Oriental rug to put down in front of his enclosure. And I'm going to find a little robe to hang up on the side of it. And we need to get like a little bowling trophy or something like that we can put on top of it too. So we're going to help him live up to his name, just like we're helping Silent Bob live up to his name of being silent. We'll see if we can get this guy to live up to the name of the dude and just be chill. So yeah, that's one thing I was thinking about him doing, a nice, cool themed enclosure. Big Lebowski stuff. So I'm going to take a few minutes now off of here after we get done and get ready for this Zoom call. Again, guys, don't forget to check out USARK if you aren't currently a member. Yeah, it's not terribly expensive. Even doing the very basic membership, man, it helps out a lot. And we're actually getting pretty close to where we at now. 9202. We're like 798 subs away from 10 grand. So, and of course, it's just been so busy. I haven't had a lot of activity going into the channel, so that's kind of creeping along. But we're getting there. Another 700 and some, and we'll hit that 10 grand mark. But yeah, we're going to transition over to our Patreon Zoom call with everybody. You guys have an outstanding night. And I will live premiere the videos that we get done tomorrow as we go. So we'll see you guys then. Have a great night.